Happy summer, Lehigh Carbon Community College. Welcome to Sessions for Summer Success, batch number 3. My name's Michael. I'm a learning specialist here at the college, and I help students with a whole bunch of things that help them be successful. I am located in the Educational Support Services area of the college. Special shout out to Callie Clayton, who is in charge of the first year experience here at the college, for helping to sponsor this video. Okay, so we're going to talk about a quick reminder. We're going to do some self-maintenance, talk about deeper learning. We're going to be talking about some approaches to lectures and some suggestions for helping you improve your writing over the summer. So big first reminder, you all know this and you're experiencing this right now. Summer courses are scrunchy, right? Everything's still there. It's just compressed. So that 15-week course is compressed into a 10-week course or a 5-week course. It's faster, right? And you have to develop plans and skills to be successful. You have to do this very quickly. All right, so let's talk about self-care versus self-maintenance. We know about taking care of ourselves, but self-care is a practice of being active in a role of protecting one's own well-being and happiness, in particular during periods of stress, right? The problem with this is in college it's hard to just stop the semester and do a larger amount of self-care for many reasons. It's not like you could just take 3 weeks off or 2 weeks off or a week off or even a long weekend just to do some self-care, because you got so much still going on. The classes are still coming, you still have assignments to do, right? It's hard to do those things, right? So one of the things we ask you guys is focus on self-maintenance first, right? Self-maintenance is the ongoing daily routine stuff that we do regularly. That's the stuff that makes us just feel like ourselves, right? Okay, it's an important thing to keep in mind here. There are 3 areas of self-maintenance here that we want you to be aware of, right? We got the mind, the body, and the soul. So you can't improve yourself if you're not maintaining yourself, right? So let's break these things down. Let's explore these 3 key areas, right? The mind, maintaining your mind. This goes back to the idea of cognitive load theory, right? Your brain has to be resting during breaks, right? So do things like taking a walk, taking a nap, doing some meditation, doing something spiritual can help you maintain your mind. The idea is that you're just decompressing your mind a little bit. You're kind of resting your mind. One of my personal favorite practices is just washing the dishes. That kind of just helps me kind of relax my mind a little bit, right? Sleep is the best thing for us. It's actually essential for the body, and college students traditionally, very traditionally, blow this off, right? So getting enough sleep, 7 to 9 hours a week, or a night, 7 to 9 hours a night, plus or minus 2, is probably a good status to have, right? Also, having a sleep routine is important to maintain your body, right? A lot of college students fluctuate their routines. You got to have a stable routine to help your body kind of stay that way, right? Your soul. Good ways to maintain your soul, right? Remind yourself of your passion, your pleasure, your purpose, right? You know, do something that makes you happy, right? Listening to music, enjoying something funny, right? Do something for others. Reviewing your purpose in this world. Why are you here? Why did you start classes, right? Those are things that can help you maintain your soul. So remember, you can't improve yourself if you're not maintaining yourself. All right, deeper learning, Bloom's taxonomy. So when we come to deeper learning, right, we have to understand it's a foundation. Bloom's teaches us we have to remember something before we can understand it, before we can apply it, before we can analyze it, before we can evaluate, before we can create it, right? It builds on itself, right? A prime example I like to use with this too, if you don't remember what a college essay is, you're not going to be able to write one. Okay? Same with math, right? You know, if you don't remember some of these concepts, you can't do any type of analysis of those concepts. So the foundation is remembering, recalling facts and basic concepts. That's the foundation. Then, do you understand it? Can you apply it to new situations along those lines? That's how you get some deeper learning. This has to be done very intentionally. You want to keep this in mind while you're studying your courses, right? So let's talk about lecture classes real quick. There are 3 key tips that I think can be helpful for you to be more successful in lecture classes. Some things to do pre-lecture, during the lecture itself, and post-lecture, right? Or a very simple way to looking at this is before, during, and after. All right, so let's talk about lecture classes before. Review the assigned reading. Review the presentation. engage with the material for the first time. Now you're learning it for the first time, right? So you're exposing yourself to it the first time. So you're not going to master it very quickly. You're going to have questions, but you want to walk into class prepared, right? You want to have some questions coming into class. You want to read. So you're not starting at ground zero when the lecture starts, right? Your brain is kind of already in that state of learning. You want to review this stuff. You want to have a good sense of before class. Then during lecture, right, you want to actively take notes, you want to ask questions, and try to keep your focus as much as possible. You will get distracted. You will get lost, right? You will get you will tune things out. You have a hard time focusing. That's cognitive load theory. Your brain will just get full and you'll get distracted. That's okay, but try to keep your focus as much as possible. And when you lose it, just regroup. Okay, don't worry about going back, necessarily, just try to get kind of where you go. To try to keep moving forward, right? Okay, post-lecture, right? You want to review your notes. You want to identify holes and areas of confusion. What did you miss? What are you still confused about? And you want to have a plan to address those holes and areas, right? Talk to your faculty members, talk to a tutor, talk to a classmate, because you want to fill those holes as much as possible. All right, so some suggestions for writing. Okay, writing college papers can be challenging, especially during the scrunchy time of the summers, but here's some ideas and tips to keep in mind, right? Use backwards planning. Right, see the other video about this, right? Okay, break down the paper's rubric. Instructors usually have a scoring guide or a rubric, and that's helpful. It's useful for structures and focus points, right? You can get a sense of how the paper should be organized, and you get a sense of where the priorities of your faculty members are for evaluation of your paper, right? Remember the purpose of writing. The purpose of writing is to communicate. Right? That's your purpose. You're trying to communicate to your audience, right? This also goes with the writing's biggest challenge. The biggest challenge of writing is you're competing down a one-way street. So the challenge is, am I communicating effectively and clearly down this one-way street? That's what makes writing really hard. It's not two-way. It's not interactive, right? It's just the message is going out, right? Remember, writing's a process. We have the steps of the writing process, which is often messy, and you have to keep working through those things, right? You have to work through those steps of the writing process. You have to keep working through, and sometimes you have to back up, sometimes you have to throw things out, but it's a messy process, but it is a process with a beginning, middle, and end, right? Connect with tutors who can give you extra set of eyes, among other things. One of the nice things about working with tutors is they're going to look at papers and they're going to look at it and say, what do you mean by this? They're a college audience who can help you improve your writing because it's an extra set of eyes and they're not you, right? They're an extra set of eyes. That's not you. And keep in mind, writing's not about you. It's about your audience, right? Do they understand what I'm trying to say? And a tutor can give you good feedback on that before it is graded, right? Okay, and remember the planning fallacy. I remember the planning fallacy states that we are horrible of estimating the amount of time it will take us to do something. And in writing, that is very true. Writing takes us a lot longer than we think it will. All right, thanks for joining us for suggestions for summer success here. This has been batch number 3. Batch number 4 is coming up soon. All right, take care, folks. See you later. Hey.